Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday to everyone that's out there in the land. Taco Tuesday, Tequila Tuesday, whatever it is that you guys are planning to do. Good morning to you. Good morning to everybody. Good morning to Deborah, who's out there as well. Good morning to everyone who's there in the chat. Welcome to the Old Fashioned Sports Show. I'm your host. You know who I am. Your favorite uncle in the world. Your Harlem Globetrotter uncle. You believe that? I didn't mention that on the Monday Overreaction show. I don't know if you haven't saw my Twitter over the weekend. First of all, shout out to my main man, Adam Lowy, who hooked me up with some Harlem Globetrotter tickets over the weekend. Took the boys and the girl to the game. Got to be courtside, right? So I had that Spike Lee joint. Like I was feeling big time. Not gonna lie, feeling big time. My son got called out. My oldest son got called out. Had to make a shot. He hasn't shot a shot in a while, so it took him a while to make it, but he finally made a shot for them. And then I got called out. And then I got asked to make a shot and make you do like sway to the left, sway to the right, this and that. But Unc drained it. That was on the second shot though. But Unc absolutely drained it. All buckets. I let Roddy Terry know, man, if you need some help, shooting coach, whatever it is on your staff, you just let me know. I'll come in. I can either be a consultant for you, or I can work. I can help you out. Like whatever you need, RT, I got you. Just have me. I got you. So, in any case, fun weekend as far as that is concerned. In fact, I think Chad is pulling this thing up right now. Which is hilarious. So look, check this out now. All right, go ahead and hit that play button, Chad. Go ahead and hit the play button. I'm gonna remove myself. All so slow. All right, there's no sound to this one here, right? So anyway, they threw the ball. Of course, I fumbled the ball at that point, so I was a little nervous as to what was going to happen. But I want you guys to check out the form. Look at the hold. Oh, look at the hold. Look at the hold. See, now that's the perfect form, right? Grab, hold. Unc had to do it. They tucked in my shirt and all those kind of things. Gave me a little wrist, gave me a little band. But I went ahead and gave that to my son. And then my oldest son gave him a French fry. And then that proceeded to start that's my oldest son, Maximus, there. And that started the whole, you know how they eat the Harlem Globetrotters, the water trick where they, splash the water at the ref. Still did that. But it was actually a lot of fun. I've seen the Harlem Globetrotters since I was a kid. But my oldest son, he got a jersey. They gave him a souvenir jersey that was autographed by everybody. And my youngest son got to be out there on the court. So, and then Daddy made the shot. I mean, like, Dad is like hero right now. Like, Dad is like, man, these kids are doing whatever I want. Dad is like a hero. They're like, Dad went out there and made the shot. Man, this is simple stuff, light stuff. That's what Unc does. And I was a few drinks in too. That's muscle memory for your behind. I was a few drinks in and still sank that shot there. So shout out to my main man, Adam Lowy, for hooking me up and creating those memories for my boys. Thank you, absolutely, Adam. Let me say what's up to everybody who's in the chat. I know chat had started on it, but let me go to my main man, DC, Dale Coleman. First in the chat, I want to say, he says, yes, sir, DC's in the house. Chris Bennett, the original OG of super fans. Before all these other super fans were around, there was Chris Bennett. He says, what's up? And so what's up to you as well. Lamarck Harper. Good morning. OB is the place to be. You're damn right, Lamar. Good morning to you, sir. I hope you're doing good. Robert, the other half of Bobby and Whitney. Ain't nobody humping around. I hope you're doing well. So your old lady, I said, what's up? Hope you guys are doing well. Valentine's Day right around the corner. So I'm in one of them new relationships. I got to do all the traditional stuff. I can't wait till I get to that point where where you're like, Valentine's Day is such a commercial holiday. And so because it's such a commercial holiday, we don't shit to celebrate. Like, I ain't there yet. So props to you, Bobby. You guys can probably do that. I can't do that there. Just another fragrance reviewer is in the house. Did you drop the Valentine's Day reviews for us yet? And let me know. Doug G is in the house. He said, good morning. Was it me or catch a negative nanny yesterday? Good morning. All your day. Hope you get off to a great start. Mine is Doug. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, Doug. I think Catch realized something in real time. I think Catch realized that he was in the absolute minority in absolute real time. Because he even has a poll up right now on Orange Bloods that I'll address in a second about that thing. And yeah, at the end of the day, I think I think he thought, oh, just getting there, that's good enough. And he soon quickly realized, ain't nobody hearing that. Ain't nobody trying to talk about that. So we'll get into that a little bit more, by the way, Doug G. Big Tex is always in the house. It's good to see you as well. Already said good morning to you, Deborah. So Money B, we are in the building. Good morning to you, Money B. Tex Guy too. Good to see you. And of course, Chad is behind there. Chad is dealing in the ones and twos behind. He's the producer behind the scenes, making it happen. Chad is now becoming our unofficial Heyman. You guys remember that Heyman in Living Color? When he's like, I got about 6 jobs, man. Like, that's what Chad is now becoming for us. He's like, I'm a producer, I'm a host, I'm a co-host. I do sales, I do everything. He's like, hey, man. That's literally Chad. Hopefully with a better Jamaican accent than I have. Miguel Angel Diaz. Buenos dias, mi tío. The FA and FAO Tour 2024 continues with another top 5 class. I thought it was like a Drake tour or something like that. I thought that's what you were about to say. Because I know Drake's on tour. I just like, is that what it's calling it? This is what NL does for programs with a big old pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. It puts the goats in the barbecue pit. I never heard of a goat being in a barbecue pit, but I never had goat. So there's that. Rodolfo is in the house. Robert, how do you say it? Landrum is in the house. Hope I said that correctly. Nick, it's been a while since you've been in here, Nick, but good morning to you. My main man, Mike Torres, is in the house. My Austin FC brother. And Mike, you know I'm an Arsenal fan. I couldn't mention it yesterday because, you know, Catches a Liverpool fan and, you know, he was a little salty. But, you know, Arsenal, woo, we made Liverpool look a little foolish over the weekend. So good morning to you as well. Zio_V is in here. Buck Wild Longhorn. That's Chad's guy. Chad, come on in. Your friend Buck Wild is back in the chat.
This is someone I know.
Is it Buck Wild, the trucker?
Buck Wild. Oh, that's right. Yes. Oh, Buck Wild. Absolutely.
Yeah, you almost threw me off, Chad. I was like, wait a second. Buck Wild, that's your guy.
Dude, we haven't heard from Buck Wild in a little while. Buck Wild must be on a little bit of a different schedule. He must be trucking it in the mornings more than he's trucking it in the afternoon. So, yeah, shout out to Buck Wild and all those truck drivers, man, getting up and down the roads and, you know, doing a little Smokey and the Bandit snowman action. Shout out to you.
All right. What else is there? Let's see. It says South End Zone Queen is in here. Let's see how long it is before she starts on her Miley Cyrus tirade. Golly. Block you. Nah, I love you, South End Zone Queen. Let's see who else is in here. The Green Lantern. Got that favorite avatar is right here. Word up. Good morning to you as well. Pet Rooster is in here as well. And Robert Camp, good morning to you. And also want to give a shout out to my main man, El Presidente, Eric Sells Homes, DFW, because if you are looking for a home in the DFW area, you look no further than my main man, Eric Sells Homes, DFW. The man with the master plan who's got you covered. If you're looking to buy a home, looking to sell a home, it's February. Starting to think about that. Hey, things are happening fast. Man, I just listen to this. My kid's in 5th grade, and I looked on, I was doing some summer planning last night. This is how fast this is coming, right? And you guys who have kids who will understand what I'm about to say. I have middle school orientation for future middle schoolers next week for the parents. Next week. So look, if you're thinking about, and I just realized this last night, I was like, oh my gosh, this thing is coming fast. I'm getting notification about star tests. That means, hey, it's going to be here before you know it. And you're looking to buy a house, you're looking to upgrade, you're looking to downgrade, kids about to leave and graduate. You got about to have an addition to the family, whatever it is. Eric Sells Homes DFW. My man has got you covered. Make sure you check him out. Eric Sells Homes DFW. And damn right, Sandman23. Please hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so. I appreciate all of that. And one last thing, Chad, I want to make sure that we do specs before I get too far down the road. Hey, looking for the best prices on beer, wine, spirits. Do you want your stuff delivered and you don't even have to leave the house? I'm not talking about McDonald's or wings or anything like that. I mean to have your stuff delivered to the home. Specs has got you covered. They got the best snacks, ice, whatever it is. Valentine's Day is next week. Might need a little something, nice little Chardonnay or something to that effect, a nice little rosé, something like that to set the mood right. Chad, let the people know what Specs has for them, please.
No matter what you're needing, Specs same-day delivery can save the day with our Specs app or online shopping. From world-class wines to hard-to-find spirits and craft beers to gourmet foods, delicious snacks, and spectacular sweets. It's Specs. Cheers to savings.
Cheers to you. And if you have South End Zone Queen as a friend, you need Specs every day in your life. So go out to Specs and make sure you get the best prices on absolutely everything. Hey, real quick tonight, for all y'all hoops fans, for all y'all who are going to, for all y'all who are on the fence on Rodney Terry, here you go. Here you go tonight. Here we go. Texas versus Iowa State at the Moody Center this evening, taking on number 14 Iowa State, 16-5 and 5-3 in the Big 12. So it'll be a game at 7 o'clock. It will be on the Longhorn network. Your main man Lowell is going to be a part of calling the game with Adrian Branch. So for all of y'all who like to ride the roller coaster of the men's basketball team, I know you guys like to go your ups and your downs. And for those of you guys who are into that kind of stuff tonight, because I can't wait. The threads are always hilarious on Orange Bloods, and it's funny for me because I don't have a horse in the race. I just get to watch basketball as a fan, and actually, I enjoy watching it. So but it doesn't matter to me. I don't cover it. So because of that, just watching the reactions of folks is crazy. Even when I asked you guys about Rodney RT, you're like, I'll never be sold on him. I'm like, it's just funny to me. Like, I like watching people react. I'm a people watcher. So anyway, just so you know, you have that one tonight as well. Hey, and by the way, in the next 15 minutes, Jason Sukamel from orangebloods.com will be on signing day. By the way, I got this email yesterday. It's a crazy reminder. I got an email yesterday from, and I say me, I mean, a lot of other people got this email as well, that Steve Sarkisian will be having a signing day press conference tomorrow. I don't know if Steve Sarkisian's signing anybody tomorrow. But I was like, oh, snap. Sark is actually, they're actually calling a press conference for that. But how they framed it is that Sark was going to be reviewing this year's signing class and looking ahead to the spring on Wednesday. And that's going to be at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. So I'm not quite sure what we'll talk about. But we'll have plenty of things to discuss. Don't ask me if it's on LHN or anything like that. That's outside my pay grade. I don't know. I'm sure it'll be on their YouTube channel at some point. But in any case, that happens tomorrow, and that's going to be there. And the other thing I want to talk about before we get Jason in to talk a little bit more about signing day and all that entails. It kind of goes back to where my man was talking about at the beginning of the show. Kind of, someone said screw LHN. But it kind of goes back to me where Doug started with, not necessarily like the negative thing, because I'm not going to go to the negative portion, but I am going to go to and kind of revisit and kind of have a chance to restate and reset kind of some of my thoughts and positions as relates to the conversation of what's really the bar for success in 2024. And and Catch and I were on opposite ends of the spectrum, because Catch thought and believes that the bar of success is making the playoffs. And I just thought to myself, that's a really low bar. That's like and really this thing got started because he mentioned that in his column on Sunday, and I commented within the column that that's the bare minimum of success. And it's like, well, that's how you're going to be judged. And I'm like, well, that sounds a lot of like the Cowboys at that point. And I get it. He's a Cowboys fan. So is Chad. I'm so sorry. Didn't mean to be throwing daggers at you, Chad, so early. Chad's like, why am I catching strays? I'm just here producing the show. But it's like at some point, as a Cowboy person, right? You understand that, hey, just making it ain't enough. You make it all the time. Can you win? Can you win multiple games? Can you get to the show? That's ultimately what you're going to be judged at. To me, just getting to the playoffs, like that's literally base model for me. That's just a base model season for me. That got you in there. Like that got you in the club. But ain't nothing special. Anybody can get in the club, right? The question is, can you get up to the VIP spot? That's where you need to be. Being in doesn't really matter. That's back when used to go to the clubs. I'm too old for all that. I go to sleep about 9:30 at night, so I ain't got no time for that. But Texas, the bar of success, I think going forward, has to be doing more than just that. And so, I noticed that Catch put a poll up this morning on Orange Bloods. And the question is, what is I gotta kind of spell check this one. It says, what is the bat for success in 2024? But nonetheless, I'll fix this in a second. Here's where we are. There's 4 categories. There's making the playoffs. This is what people can vote on. Making the playoffs and winning at least one game, making the playoffs and making the Final Four, and then the national championship game, right? So making the playoffs, national championship, everything in between. Now, here's what's interesting, okay? The percentage of people who say making the playoffs is the bar for success currently on this poll that we have on Orange Bloods is 15.8%, essentially 16% of people. Now, people who said making the playoffs and winning at least one game, which to me, that's what I said. I said, you got to make the playoffs and at least win one. And right now, that poll, that percentage is at 36.9% of people. So essentially, let's just make the numbers a little bit easier. Let's just say 37% of people say Texas fans say they need to make the playoffs and win at least one game. Now, make the playoffs and making the Final Four. That number is at 34.6% at this moment, right? So the meat right now is making the playoffs and then having success in it. Only 60% people say, I'd just be happy to get there. Now, there is the other portion of it, which is the 12.7% of people who say the natty, making a national championship game. Now, to me, I don't know if that's the bar for success. I mean, I hear it. That to me is asking a lot, just to say that your bar for success is making the national championship game. That's asking a lot. But if we just do the simple math, if I throw out making the playoffs and I throw out national championship game, the number of people who believe that Texas needs to make the playoffs and then win games, and that is the bar of success, that number is currently at 72%. 72% of Texas fans believe that Texas not only needs to go to the playoffs, but have success in the playoffs. That's the bar. And only 60% of people believe just making it is good enough. I, as you know, am in that 72% that says, hey, Texas needs to not only make the game, but they need to have the wins associated with it, right? And think of it from this perspective, because I started looking at some of the comments online, and one of the comments was, "What happens?" I should have, you know what, Chad? Hold on, Chad. I'm gonna try this. Cause you know how to do this faster than me at this moment. Chad, can you put that particular comment on the screen for me? Because I thought this was a really good one here. But we're learning how to produce in real time. We're doing things in real time. So sometimes
Give me one sec.
Okay, look at it. That's what she said. Chad's wife is like, I've heard this one before. Come on, Chad. But it really is. I thought when I started going through the comments of it, majority of people felt like, hey, this, and one person says, hey, one person said, I think it's really arrogant as far as a national championship game. Another person says, hey, Texas possesses the best returning quarterback in college football, the best returning left tackle, an upperclassman offensive line room, wide receiver room full of elite speed, tight end room, 2 players that are NFL players, Jade Blue. Going in on paper, Texas has the best offense in college football, and a defense that's the floor for them, that particular person. Chad, you ready with it? Here comes the question, and this is what I'm going to throw at you guys. This really is, it's kind of like a reverse psychology kind of response. It says, what happens, or what is the talking point if we miss the playoffs? And that should tell you your answer, right? And I thought that person's. I didn't want to put his name on it or her name because I didn't ask for permission at that point. So I just want to at least put the statement out there. And that is the thing. Like, think to yourself, if Texas doesn't make the playoffs, how would you feel? And then clearly the opposite would be true, like of what your expectations would be. It would be true that would be your absolute answer. And I think, to me, we're at a point, and this is one of the things I tried to point out yesterday. We're at a point where Darwin says fire someone. We have been talking about Texas building for the SEC for years now. This ain't nothing new, nothing brand new. This ain't out of the blue. We've been talking about this and amping up for the SEC for a long time. I don't know how we go from a 12-win season to somehow saying, well, if they just make it, that'd be great. This team was in the Final Four last year. The bar doesn't get lowered when you go to the playoffs and you're a top 4 team in the playoffs and you're a top 5 ranked team. Like going into the season, this will be a top 5 team, maybe 3, 4, whatever the case may be, right? Somebody may give them a first place vote, a couple of people. That team doesn't get the chance. That team is not allowed to take a step back. That team is not a team that's allowed to now all of a sudden lower the expectations because, well, maybe or maybe not. No, this is where you're at. This is what you hear. This is what you work for. This is where Texas is from an expectation standpoint. Getting there, that should be a given. You should. It's like the NCAA tournament for many programs. You should make it. Now, the success that you have in the tournament, that's what you're ultimately judged by. That's what you ultimately will look for. And there's probably a good parallel program for Texas as relates to that, but I can't think of it right now. So and I look at the SEC. And I look at a team, a conference that, I'm sorry, but Nick Saban's no longer there. And I love my man SEC Mike. I don't know why he's got Alabama ranked ahead of Texas in his power rankings, but nonetheless, and that's my dude. At some point in the spring, I'll get him back on, and we'll talk about it a little bit. But That being said, Nick Saban's gone. And you'll have one hell of a time trying to convince me that Alabama will still be Alabama. Sorry. That's not how this thing's going to roll. The people went to Alabama not because Tuscaloosa is such an amazing city. Not because I just have always thought in my life, I want to live in Alabama. Of all the states in the union I can live in, Alabama, that's on the top of my list. It's not because of the tourism. It was because of Nick Saban. And I say this as a person who did an internship in Alabama many moons ago in Birmingham. So I got some Alabama for you. I know a little bit about it. So you tell me Bama is not going to be what Bama was. Sorry, they're just not going to be. And Kalen DeBoer, cool story, bro. I want to see what you do without Michael Penix. Let me just see that, please, and then let's go from there, okay? And then once we get past that, now we're talking about Georgia still being Georgia, and then I know Ole Miss is making their run, and we're expecting a lot from them, and Texas should be right there in that mix. Quite honest with you. So I look at the SEC. And yeah, there's going to be tough teams. I get it. There's going to be tough teams. There's going to be tough games, so on and so forth. But Texas has been building for this moment for a number of years now. I look at the roster, and you can't tell me that you have a quarterback that literally is going to compete for the Heisman, and he's good enough to compete for the Heisman, but not good enough to win a game, 2 games in the playoffs. I mean, like, what are we talking about? Like that's what the elite guys do. And pretty much everybody who got to the playoffs had a pretty good quarterback to a certain degree, even no matter what you feel about Jalen Monroe. I mean, he's not the greatest, but still better than most when it's all said and done. And so when you got Quinn as that guy who's a Heisman contender, it is fair to put that on Sark and the rest. And then when I look at the talent that's around within there, there's enough talent to compete week in and week out within the conference, within the SEC. So to me, yeah, I know what his thought process was, and I know where he was, but that's the minority. The majority understands what is being built, what has been built. And look, with success comes expectations. Just what it is. You have success, you will have expectations, but no one goes and makes it to the Final Four, and then everyone says, well, that there should be no expectations the following year. Now, you have a coaching change, sure. But speaking of all those coaches who were in the Final Four last season, Sark's still there. Everybody else is either gone, moved around, so on and so forth. They're all going to different places. So that should be an advantage as it relates to it. So it'd be interesting. We're going to have this conversation about what the bar is and what it should be. But for me, making the playoffs and then winning at least one is the floor. And anything past that would be fine. All right. Chad, you got my Speakeasy Lounge queued up because it's time for us to go to Jason Sukuman because signing days tomorrow. I don't think Texas is going to be doing a whole lot. So let's go to the Speakeasy Lounge and let's see what Jason Sukuman has to say, though. Good morning, Jason. How are you?
I'm good on war as I move my mic. How are you doing, dude?
I'm doing good. I did not guess the hat today. So you retired the Yankees hat, it looks like.
Yeah, it treated me pretty well in Vegas as far as luck-wise goes, so maybe I should keep wearing that hat.
So okay. What was her name? No. No. Yeah. What did you win, Jason? What did you win?
Well, let me start from the beginning. I lost my ass on the first day, lost my ass on the second day, and then sat down at the craps, not the table, but there's like this little bubble thing where you hit the button with the dice balls. And me and my buddy were sitting side by side, and we each won about $1,000 on the craps table. Yeah, now that barely covered my losses from the first couple days. But I always say, dude, if I can come home from Vegas breaking even, that's a win for me, my man. So
you were at least able to kind of come close to breaking even when you felt good about it.
yeah, breaking even, lots of free drinks. I probably drank $1,000 worth of Coors Lights, so that was good, dude. And the worst part, I put it in the Slack message. I'm sure you saw it. Like, my buddy was not feeling well, but he's like, "Oh, I think it's just allergies." And this was the last 2 days of our trip. He's taken my throat lozenges that I brought with me because I still got this damn cough. And he gets home and he went to the doctor yesterday. He tested positive for flu and COVID, dude. And we shared a room out in Vegas. I'm like, oh shit, dude. I'm like doing my dances, whatever I can do to keep this virus away from me. So far so good. Knock on wood. I feel okay, but he powered through, dude. We had a good time, yeah.
Well, Jason, I'm at the point where I'm realizing that probably the alcohol that's within your system on a continual basis probably does enough to provide you with protection where you don't need a flu shot or anything to that effect.
No.
I'm pretty sure that alcohol's got you covered.
We did our part for sure, dude. Like, this is embarrassing to admit, but like we would hit the casino at like 10 in the morning, and dude, our day was going. We don't ease into it. We get going at 10 in the morning, but
10 in the morning. I mean, wait. Okay, so
that's noon Austin time. That's noon Austin time. To be fair, we're no judge.
You're with the old people with the oxygen tanks at that time of morning.
Yeah, but we're drinking beers. That's the difference. They got their oxygen tanks. We're pounding beers, and the sad part is, we hit it so hard at 10 in the morning. 2 out of 3 nights we were in bed in the room by like 7 p.m. dude. So
that's still a long day, Jason.
It is a long day, but
that's still a lot of hours of power drinking ahead of you. I can see why you lost some of your money if you were going that hard for that long. So,
yeah, for sure. Yeah,
sounds like fun. Jason, it's funny. I was telling them, we got a notification that Steve Sarkisian would be speaking to the media, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. Wednesday is still that second signing day. By the way, Jason, I'm curious before we get into Sark and tomorrow. I'm curious that from a signing day perspective, it used to be such a huge deal and a huge event in February. Really doesn't seem to be now. But do you have a favorite signing day story that just stands out to you?
Yeah, but you're right. First off, tomorrow, maybe there'll be a surprise that we're not expecting, but tomorrow just seems like a normal Wednesday, right? My favorite signing day story, Almar, is probably, I don't remember the year, but it's Shiro Davis is a defensive end out of Louisiana, played for Texas. I got to know his coach really well. And for whatever reason, his coach really liked me. And bad judge of character, I guess, right? But his coach and I really got along well. Never met him, but we talked on the phone all the time. He called me the day before signing day. And this is, this is before all these other networks and everything, but popped up. But he goes, "Hey, dude, Shiro, everybody," I think he was, I'm trying to remember, was either committed to LSU or he was going to commit to LSU. I think he was committed to LSU, in fact. But he said, "Hey, Shiro's going to sign with Texas tomorrow." I'm like, "What?" And like, did we talk it out? And he's like, "No, he is going to sign with Texas." So at the time, Jason Howell worked with us on orangebloods.com. And I called Jason Howell. I'm like, "Dude, I need you to get in your ass in your car and drive to Louisiana." And he did. And nobody saw that coming except for us. And obviously, we broke the story when it happened. And it literally crashed all of Rivals. It was such a big moment. And Orange Bloods was such a big monster. And there were so many clicks coming through. It crashed the Rivals servers when Shiro Davis signed with Texas. So that was a fun one, just because we kind of had that one on everybody else. I guess there were other networks at that point. I'm trying to remember, but nobody saw that coming. Everybody had him in the books to sign with LSU, and we had someone boots on the ground to cover him signing with Texas.
That is fun. That doesn't sound like a kid in the hot tub stories like that.
No.
Anything to that effect.
Jason, my other one would be sorry to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
Has to be Daryl Scott, which most people have heard this story if you're on Orange Bloods. Daryl Scott was a running back out in California, and I flew out there. He committed to Texas. I flew out there to cover one of his games in the fall. And then I flew out there. He was kind of flirting with Colorado a little bit. But I flew out there for signing day, and I go out there day before signing day. And I'm talking to people at his school, including one of his assistant coaches. And his assistant coach says, "Hey, dude, it's not going to be Texas. He's going to flip to Colorado." I'm like, "Well, hell!" And this is a 5-star running back out of, imagine Bijan Robinson doing that, right? A 5-star out of state running back. He didn't end up being Bijan Robinson, but so I'm out there in California, and I'm like, "Well, dude, I'm here. I might as well go to a signing ceremony." I got approval. It was going to be aired on ESPN. There's an ESPN zone in Disneyland out there. There's an ESPN. There used to be an ESPN zone restaurant. He's going to sign there. I'd gotten approval from ESPN to go cover the event. I show up at the event on National Signing Day. They're like, "Sorry, dude, you can't come in." And I'm like, "What? Hey, I've been approved. I flew out from Texas." And they're like, "No, the mom does not." For whatever reason, they said the mom didn't want me in. So I sat in my car and I called Ketch, and Ketch watched it on ESPN and gave me a play-by-play, and it wound up being Colorado. But hey, I got a trip to California out of it. So that
hey, because at that point you didn't have any work to do at that point.
No, really, I didn't have to write. Yeah, it was like, okay, I'm just gonna go cruise around Southern Cali for a little bit. Yeah. So
all right. So Jason, we'll if you guys, by the way, if you got some questions, recruiting questions for Jason, go ahead and get that in there. Tomorrow, Jason, is there anything for us to keep an eye on? Or is there anything that you're keeping an eye on as relates to tomorrow's? Is tomorrow, like you said, just going to kind of be an average Wednesday for you?
I hate to say it and jinx myself, Almar, but like, I'm not expecting anything. I mean, Alex Foster, the defensive lineman, is still unsigned, but he told me it's not going to be Texas. Once Bo Davis left, he's probably going to sign with Baylor. When they sent that press release about Sark having a press conference, I'm like, well, why? What's he going to talk about? He already talked about all the guys, and maybe he talks about some of these portal additions. I don't know, but yeah, I'm not expecting anything. But then, sometimes these coaches have a trick up their sleeves. I remember when Ryan Bushevsky committed, and we're like, who the hell? What is this? The punter, of course, from Australia. I mean, maybe they've got a trick up their sleeve where some guy slides under the radar and signs tomorrow, but I'm not really expecting that. Sark will have his press conference. It's late morning tomorrow, I believe, right?
11 o'clock. 11
Yeah,
o'clock.
11 o'clock. So, he'll probably talk about some of the portal additions, and I'm expecting most of it to be focused on spring football, probably. So, yeah. But again, unless I'm missing something, maybe there'll be a surprise that catches us off guard. I'll be around just in case something goes down. But no, I'm not expecting many, if any, fireworks tomorrow.
It's interesting that the press release, Jason, said that Sark will review this year's signing class and look ahead to the spring on Wednesday, February the 7th. So I think that's been our indication. I feel like they feel like you have to do something for signing day because everyone would complain that he didn't talk on signing day. And so this is really probably more of a State of the Union address than anything else. So like you said, look forward, maybe ask about the new coaches, new coach, all those other kind of little things. So if that's not there, and there'll be no dramatics there, it seems like KJ Lacey is giving Texas fans heartburn every other week. He was supposed to go to Ole Miss for their junior day, and I guess he decides that he didn't want to go. He's not going. But I think Texas fans were a little worried about that beforehand. I think he was down in Miami a couple of weeks ago, and he was supposed to take an unofficial there, but I don't think he never went there. So help us understand it. Is it just he's got a name and a buzz, and this is what our life looks like until he actually signs on the dotted line?
Pretty much. I'm not saying that it's not newsworthy if KJ Lacey visits places, but I kind of am just numb to it personally, and I would advise fans to take a similar approach. He was in Miami for a 7-on-7 tournament. It's not like he went down there just to visit Miami. I don't think he ever visited Miami. If he did, I never saw it come up. I mean, there was talks he was going to go visit the University of Miami while he was down there competing. He was at the Senior Bowl. Was it like some kind of passing academy? So he was supposed to then go visit Ole Miss. That didn't happen. I mean, listen, I've talked to KJ, I don't know, 10 times roughly. And he always tells me like, yeah, dude, I went to Auburn last week, or I'm going to Alabama next week to watch this game. but he's super open about it. He's like, hey, I love college football. I love the experience. I mean, he's not hiding it. He's not bashful about it. He tells the Texas coaches anytime he goes anywhere. Does that mean Texas fans should not be worried? No, you should worry a little bit. And he's a borderline 5-star talent at quarterback. But, he's going to continue to take these visits. I think it's going to continue. It's a dead period right now, so it's certainly not in February, but it'll continue in the spring. It'll continue in the fall. And you're just going to have to sweat this one out a little bit until we see if Texas can hold on to him. As it stands now, I get this question a lot. I mean, I do think Texas holds on to him. Alabama, the coaching turnover there, it might have a little bit of effect. The one to watch, I still think, is Auburn. I was told, and this is something I'm kind of ruining my war room, but I was told, everybody thought with Ryan Williams and his wide receiver teammate, Ryan Williams reclassifies, decommits from Alabama, of course, recommits to Alabama, his signing with Alabama tomorrow. People thought maybe Alabama would be a big factor. I'm told he and Ryan aren't not nearly attached at the hip, not even close, the way some people think. So I was told this weekend, hey, keep an eye. If it's not, I still think it'll be Texas, but if not Texas, keep an eye on Auburn. But I still think it'll be Texas. But yeah, you're right, man. I mean, KJ Lacey, he's going to give us a lot to talk about over the next 10 months or 11 months, because he probably will, almost certainly will, continue to take visits, including visits to Texas, though.
Chad, I went ahead and took care of this. It was Rodolfo asked a question. You want to know if there's any updates, of course, on Decorian Moore and Taz as well. You got anything new on that, Jason?
Not really, Rodolfo. Neither one showed up for the Texas Junior Day. Taz, I think, went to Tennessee. He was at A&M last weekend. Decorian, man, I mean, honestly, when Decorian committed to LSU so early, right? I was like, that ain't gonna stick. And I said, I think I predicted over a 50% chance that he would wind up flipping his commitment to Texas. He's since then really solidified his commitment, and LSU is recruiting at an extremely high level in that 2025 class. He's kind of been a ringleader for that a little bit, if you will. So I still expect Decorian Moore to visit Texas at some point. Taz obviously has been to Texas and will visit Texas some more. But Taz is pretty open. Decorian, I think he feels pretty good about it, his LSU commitment. I will say this: I am planning, as long as I don't get this damn COVID/flu that my buddy shared, I'm planning on going up to Dallas this weekend. As of today, I feel okay, but there's a Pylon 7-on-7 tournament, so I'm hoping maybe one or both of those guys will be at that tournament up in Dallas. I'm going to go out there on Saturday, so I might have a little bit better update if I get to talk to those guys in person. But there's not a lot new with Texas with either one of those guys as it stands right now.
Mike Torres came in for buy or sell for you, Jason. He wants to know, does Texas need to stop with the low 3-star high school kids, K and P not included, and save them for portal guys?
I'm trying to see. Let me look. I'm looking at the commitment list. I guess Melvin Hills would be the low. Will and Jordan Washington. They didn't really get any low 3-star guys. I mean, all those guys are fairly highly rated 3-star guys. But in terms of low 3-star guys, yeah, Texas needs to be aiming higher for that with the way this program is recruiting and the trajectory of the program on the field under Sark. I'm okay taking. The coaches every coach in the country is always going to say, we don't look at recruiting rankings. Well, maybe you don't, but you kind of do. I mean, you're looking at who's offered this kid, and it's kind of contagious. I can say it now. I kind of had a running joke amongst myself and kind of maybe our Orange Bloods guys. Like, it seemed like every time A&M would offer a guy, Bo Davis would follow up with an offer 2 days later. Don't tell me that these coaches aren't watching what everybody else is doing around them. But Alex January is a 3-star guy that Texas took, and frankly, I don't think he should be a 3-star guy. I think Alex January is a no-brainer 4-star player. But so you're going to find some guys where the coaches disagree with the rankings, and you don't want to take a class full of 3-star guys. I mean, that's not how Georgia and Ohio State survive. But you also have to trust these coaches and their ability to evaluate. But there's a reason 5-star guys are 5-star for a reason. High 4-star guys are high 4-star guys for a reason. That should be where Texas primarily focuses. But I'm okay if they take a flyer on maybe 2 or 3 3-star guys in each class and say, hey, I like this guy. We got on him early. He's under the radar. But let's bring him in and develop him. There have been some pretty good 3-stars that have panned out for Texas over the years.
Jason, all right, this one will be probably the most challenging question I'll ask you of the day. And this will test you as a recruiting guy. Apparently a couple of days ago, Eric Garza is a walk-on from South Lake. Now,
don't know anything about him. Yeah,
that's what I said, Jason. It's been the hardest question. Do you know anything about the young man?
No, and I'll be honest, Omar, I see those tweets. A lot of guys, the preferred walk-ons, and I hate that they say, hey, I'm committed to Texas. Well, say I'm committed to Texas as a preferred walk-on. And normally I do some research, and a lot of times I even interview those guys like Bert Auburn. Bert Auburn, I think I'm the only person who interviewed Bert Auburn as a recruit after he committed to Texas. But I have not researched this guy. I'm sorry, I don't know much about him at all. I did see the tweets, but I still in a bit of a Vegas haze 72 hours later. So no, I don't know much about him.
I want to know more because to Mr. Garza's defense, he said, I'm excited to announce I have been admitted to the University of Texas at Austin and have accepted a roster spot on the football team.
Yeah, he made it pretty clear, but there was about a 2-year span there where all these dudes would be like, I'm committed to Texas. And I'm like, okay, I'm 99% sure this is a preferred walk-on, but I always have to text someone at UT and be like, hey, just to confirm, preferred walk-on, right? But his wording certainly indicates that he was coming in as a preferred walk-on. Hey, and good for him, man. Those dudes have a valuable role, but I can't say I know a ton about him online.
All right. Well, that's fine. That's fine. The Garza family is offended. Jason, I want to ask you something. A couple more things, and there's a conversation that Ketch and I started yesterday, continues today, and you could see that he had posted something on Orange Bloods as well. I want to kind of get your thought process on it. The conversation was what should be the floor in as far as acceptability for the 2024 season. Ketch thought just making the playoffs was acceptable. I pushed back. And I said, no, making the playoffs and then winning at least one game, to me, when you have an expanded playoffs, that should be the thing that's acceptable. He put a poll up. As you know, Ketch is always going to go out swinging. And he's put a poll up. And as you can see from the poll so far this morning, it was somewhere in that 70% spot, Jason, where it was at 36% said Texas needs to make the playoffs and win at least one game. Another 34% says they need to make the playoffs and make to the Final Four. So again, you have about 70% of people that say Texas needs to make the playoffs, at least win. I'm kind of curious as for yourself, when you start thinking about the bar for success in 2024, what does that look like for you?
It's funny you ask that because I heard you talking about it coming in, and I'm trying to visualize when I was in the waiting room. The first 4 get buys, right? The top 4?
Yes.
Okay. So initially, when I heard you talking about it, I was like, no, I think just making the playoffs. But I'm like, no, man, you're not facing, let's say Georgia's the best team in the country next year, and they're just steamrolling everybody. You're not having to face a Georgia in round 1. You're facing somewhere between 5 and 12. So you said that you think they need to win one game. Is that right? Am I getting that right?
Just getting there is not enough for me.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I mean, I'm not saying that they make the playoffs and lose in that first round. It's a huge disappointment and, get the pitchforks out and let's run Sark out of town. Certainly not. But, I think the bar realistically, yes, make the playoffs. And I do think winning one game is a realistic expectation. That's where I personally would set the bar. I think they have the roster, they have the returning quarterback, which is the biggest key of any of these elements. So they've got the returning quarterback. They've done a good job in the portal, reloading on some of the spots they've missed. Defensive line is a bit of concern. Going to the SEC is kind of a bit of a wild card. But yeah, I think making the playoffs and winning one game is a realistic bar, and I'm in agreement with you. That's where I'd set my sights.
All right, Jason, I'll ask you one more question, and I'll let you out of here. Super Bowl, Jason. Got
Mm.
your Super Bowl predictions ready for me. Who do you got in the big game this upcoming weekend?
Dude, I'm glad you asked that, and so did Rodolfo. And are we doing a Prize Pick Super Bowl?
I think we're going to do something. I think we'll
Yeah.
probably do something this weekend.
Hey, speaking of Prize Picks, Omar, I'm so pissed. I hit 5 out of 6 on a $25. I would have won $625 last night, but I hit 5. I missed on one. I'm like, damn it, man! I just cannot ever get that 6 out of 6.
You and me we load up on those Sixers. Don't
Yeah, and like I read somewhere like they're like, hey, statistically that's dumb. Do the 5 because you have a better odds on the 5 because whatever. I don't know. You have to, 4 out of 5 pays the same as 5 out of 6. So statistically, some math geek broke it down and was like, hey, you should really only do 5-person deals. But anyway, so Super Bowl picks. Okay, I wrote in my 3-2-1 last week. I predicted the Chiefs to win. I said, I am not going to bet against Patrick Mahomes. Certainly, all due respect to Brock Purdy, but I'm not going to bet again on Brock Purdy over Patrick Mahomes. I'm a superstitious dude. Okay, I am.
Okay.
To a fault, probably.
Okay.
I'm out there playing craps again with my buddy.
Okay.
And I'm talking to my buddy, and I say, you know what? I'm going to go do some Super Bowl props. We're playing, again, it's the bubble craps thing. I don't know why I never even went to the table. We just played the big bubble, and the dice bounce around, and you stop the thing. So I'm shooting the dice or whatever on this bubble craps thing. I say, hey, I'm going to do some Super Bowl props because that way I can make the game a little bit more interesting for myself. And I said, I'm also going to put $50 on the Yankees to win the World Series. I said, I know they're not going to probably, but I said, it gives me and my daughter a vested interest in the Yankees season. Dude, I'm telling him this, and I hit the button, the thing to stop the dice from bouncing. And my number I was already on 9. My second number comes up 4. And I'm like, whoa, 4-9. I'm like, okay. So about 10 minutes later, the dice come back to me, and I'm talking to my buddy, and we're talking about the Super Bowl. Hey, what are you doing for the Super Bowl? And I was already on like 4, and I shoot the dice, and it comes up 9, dude. So I'm now on 4 and 9. And I go, oh my God, that's twice. I'm on 4 and 9. And I'm talking about the Super Bowl. So, Super Bowl, I'm going with the 49ers, Omar. Just like that, I'm changing my tune. I'm taking Brock Purdy and the 49ers. Come to think of it, that's when I was losing my ass at craps, though. So maybe I should. Now that I talk it out, maybe I should stick with the Chiefs. But nope, I'm going 49ers just because the dice told me so.
So
no analytics, no rhyme or reason.
Jason Sukamel is also available for your 401k portfolio advice if you need some as well. Because he's like, I drove past a McDonald's. McDonald's is where you should invest. So yes, Jason, we appreciate the life advice. So Jason, you got the 49ers. You got a score prediction by any chance?
I think it'll be honestly, I think both of these defenses are much better than people give them credit for. Kansas City's got a much better defense. Everybody knows about their offense, but their defense is playing really well. So I think it'll be a low-scoring game, Omar. I'll go I think it's gonna be really close. I mean, like 21-20. I think it's gonna be something. I think it's gonna be a 4-quarter down to the wire type game. So.
All right, thank you so much, Jason Sukumel. I know you'll be online. We'll see you tomorrow as well. And by the way, I guess we'll see you later for the modcast.
Yeah. It sounds like it'd be me, you, and Alex for the modcast. So yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a quick one. I gotta be up in Georgetown by like 5:30 for today. So
hey, so do I. I gotta be there at Georgetown 5:30. So maybe
all right. Well, then it will be a very quick modcast. All right, Jason. Thank you so much.
All right, Omar. See you, man.
All right, buddy. Jason Sukamel, who's gave you his free betting advice. It's up to you if you want to take it. For guys losing as well as he did. So yes, Andre says, hey, it's a lock. He's betting on the Chiefs. Yes. Listen, I'm going to tell you, in our Slack channel, whenever someone tells me there's a guarantee that checks the box and this is what we should do for prize picks, usually if I do the opposite, I win because these people don't know what the hell they're talking about. So, and Jason says, absolutely, it's the 49ers. Bet the house on the Chiefs. And that will be how I bet, because Jason said the 49ers. I will bet the exact opposite, and I will absolutely clean up. All right. Speaking of cleaning up, let's get out of here. Thank you to Chad, who's producing behind the scenes, doing this thing. Eventually, we're all going to start producing our own shows unless I find somebody who wants to do it for me for free. And then at that point, you can do that at any point. Just hit onward at orangebloods.com. Hey, you guys have a fantastic day. Enjoy yourself. Make sure you check out all the different shows that we've got today. We got the podcast later on. Obviously, we got House Divided at noon. We got tons of things on this channel. Make sure you hit the like button. Subscribe so you know when we get started. You don't have to miss a darn thing. I will be back on the channel a little bit later on. So you guys take care. Remember, I always say live each day like it was your last, because one day it will be. You guys take care. Enjoy your Tuesday. Peace out.